Hey guys, it's Britt. Today I'm here to talk to you about something that recently came on my radar. In my personal opinion, it is not funny. It never was funny, but I really want this to be an open discussion. I want to share it with you guys and we can talk about it. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I'm going to do this video a little bit different than how I usually deliver a lot of my commentary videos, and I'm going to see what you guys think about it. I don't think that this will be a really normal thing because this is a certain situation that makes sense to deliver it this way. So you guys will understand why, but what I want to do is I don't want to name names yet. I want to describe this situation to you guys. Once I'm done describing it, I want you guys to put your opinions in the comments section. And then once I tell you guys who it was and kind of my thoughts around it, then you can leave another comment or update your comment or whatever it is that you want to do once you actually know who it was. Some of you guys might already know who it is just once I start describing the situation. And I'm also going to tell you guys how I found out about it and give, credit where credit's due, because there is a new YouTuber that I came across. I've been really enjoying her content so far, and I think that you guys will too. So I want to make sure that I share that with you guys. So, okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine a YouTuber or an influencer is doing a live show, and the audience consists of kids, anywhere from, let's say, maybe 6 to 7, all the way up through preteens and teenagers. Parents are in attendance as well, so there are adults in the audience. But the YouTuber, let's just call the YouTuber for namesake Jane. Jane the YouTuber asks for a minor boy to come onto the stage. So Jane the YouTuber goes to the audience and asks for a young boy to come onto the stage with her to perform a skit. Nothing too out of the ordinary. This happens all the time at live shows. They will pick an audience member, whether it's kids, adults, whatever, to come up on the stage and be a part of the act or the skit. Young boy is picked. He's 9 years old, by the way. That is the actual age. And the 9-year-old goes and sits up on the stage with Jane the YouTuber. Jane is there to teach the young boy how to go on a date. Now, first of all, I think that's a little awkward. A young kid doesn't really need to know how to go on a date for any reason. Literally a child. So next, Jane says to the child, "The best place to go for a date is deep and dark into the woods where no one can see or hear you." My parents taught me growing up that you don't go into the woods with a stranger. It is dangerous and scary if someone wants to take you somewhere where you cannot be seen or heard. So Jane says, well, the first thing that we need to learn how to do is how to have chemistry. Now, that word in itself, to me, is not something that a child needs to learn about at that age. Same thing with going on a date. Now, going on a date is, in my opinion, a little bit more innocent if we're going to compare the two, since they literally happen back to back within a minute of each other. When we're talking about the word chemistry, that is a lot more complicated than going on a date. Jane says to the young boy, one way that we can have chemistry between us is to share a snack. But since they are in the woods, in their imagination, you have to hide the snacks from the bears. So Jane brings out a bag of snacks, and for whatever reason, she puts them inside of her pants and proceeds to allow the boy to take the snacks out of her pants. Now, hold fast, because I know that some people might say, oh, well, it's just a kid's show, it's just a skit, it's just comedy. To me, let's just say that instead of Jane the YouTuber, let's say that it was Joe the YouTuber. Because in all honesty, this situation to many people would look different if it was a man instead of a woman on the stage. So for Jane to instruct this young boy to take snacks out of this place where she had hid them, the entire situation to me is not funny, it's not lighthearted, it's not material that is designed for a child to partake in. I think that it's extremely uncomfortable and irresponsible. Now, before we go any further, I want you guys to pause this video and I want you to tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think that this is appropriate, inappropriate? You don't care? It depends if it's a man or a woman. In my opinion, it shouldn't, because women can be just as dangerous to children as men can be. I know that analytics will show all kinds of information as far as men versus women with crimes against children. However, we have to also accept the fact that women can be as dangerous as men can be. So pause the video, tell me what you think down below, and then we will proceed and I'll tell you who this actually was. So the YouTuber that pulled this in real life is Miranda Sings, Colleen Ballinger. They're the same person. I don't care if Miranda is a character. This whole blaming being bad or sketchy individual on a character, I think is very outdated and it needs to stop. So that's just my personal opinion. Colleen Ballinger's stans and fans are quite ruthless. I've had my fair share of dealing with ruthless people on my channel. If you are a fan of Miranda, that's fine. Leave your comments, leave your opinions. If there are personal attacks, insults, curse words, anything along those lines, I'm not tolerating it. I am sort of at a zero tolerance policy right now when it comes to people attacking one another over their personal opinions. We all have opinions. We're all allowed to share them as long as they're being put in a constructive manner. Nobody's, cussing each other out or anything like that. We are all allowed to consume content from the internet and share an opinion on it. If you want to make personal attacks, take it elsewhere, because it's not going to happen on my channel. So the way that this story came across my radar is I recently discovered this channel Audibly Elena, Commentary and Psychology. She's a small channel. She has 1.45 thousand subscribers. The way that I actually discovered her is she did a video on Jordan Cheyenne. She actually mentioned Dad Challenge podcast as well in that video. So I'll link her channel down below, but she did a wonderful video about Colleen Ballinger and Shane Dawson, a comparison. It's 2 parts. The most recent part just came out a day ago. And so I watched that, and then I actually ended up learning that Petty Page did a video on this. So a lot of you guys might have already heard about it. If you subscribe to Paige and you were aware of it, let me know that too. I'd be very interested. But I'm going to link Paige's video as well as this channel in my description box. But I do think it's a really interesting conversation, because when we think about how Shane Dawson was absolutely dragged across the internet, as he should have been, for the things that he was saying and, talking about with minors, why are we not keeping this same energy for Colleen? Because if we're looking at it as 2 separate scenarios, we can't just say, oh, well, one was joking and one wasn't. They're both being disguised as comedy. So are we giving Colleen a pass because she's a woman and Shane's a man? That's what I'm saying. If this situation with Miranda would have happened with a male YouTuber, there is no way that male YouTuber would have ever been able to come out on the other side of this with at least not a huge ding to their reputation and their persona and their career online. I do find this very interesting, and please be warned, huge trigger warning, if you do watch the video that has the clip of this, which is on Paige's video. Beware before you watch it. It is very uncomfortable to watch, and it's shocking that more people didn't talk about this, because I didn't know about this until I watched her video, and I'm like, well, it happened a few years ago. Let's also talk about the lapse in time that's happened, because a lot of people will say, oh, well, that was years ago, it was funny. It wasn't that long ago. We're not talking about something that was 15, 20, 30 years ago. I believe this happened in 2016. So 5 years? Hardly. This is definitely not the only situation where Miranda Sings has been inappropriate to her child fan base. And I know she has made the argument before, oh, well, Miranda's not for kids. Yeah, but you know your analytics. You also know who buys tickets to your shows. And you specifically, for this skit that was inappropriate, in my opinion, she could have brought an adult onto the stage, but she chose to have a 9-year-old boy. She told the girls to not raise their hands. She wanted a young boy for this skit. So I think it's creepy, and there's several other things that I could highlight about Miranda Sings, but I won't do that in this video because I want it to be quick and easy for you guys to digest. But make sure that you leave all your thoughts down below. And like I said before, if you're a fan of Miranda, or you're a fan of Colleen, or you're a fan of one or both of their personalities online, that's completely fine. But when it comes to having the conversation around what's appropriate versus what's inappropriate for kids to watch and consume and be exposed to online, it needs to be a fair conversation. And it can't be, oh, well, we're going to ridicule this person, but not this one because it's a woman. Or I've heard the argument, oh, well, she's a mom, she wouldn't hurt anyone. That has nothing to do with it. You can still be inappropriate and be a mom, you know? So leave your comments. If you're a fan, it's all good. I have no ill will towards Colleen or Miranda, but I will always share my unfiltered opinions in a constructive, level-headed way. This is definitely not me attacking her personally or making, you know, deep personal insults. It's just me reacting to content that is on the internet, my personal opinions around it. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.